And now, the moment we've all been waiting for. The 1992 homecoming queen is Miss Stephanie Logan. Stephanie will now be followed by the 1991 homecoming queen, Miss Eva Jackson. This concludes the presentation of the 1992 homecoming board. As the band plays the final classic, Ice Castle, I would like to, on behalf of the Center Independent School District, Board of Trustees, our Superintendent, Mr. Hank Collins, our high school principal, Dr. Charlene Crockett, and Director, Mr. Bill Grant, and Director of the homecoming ceremonies, Ms. Donna Warren, and the first year announcer, Mr. Chris Washington. We'd like to thank you for your attention.
You live in the,
The stop is complete to number 82. First hammer who laterals it off to number 11, Jason G. The play is successful. That doesn't quite be enough yards.
We got some folks here with us from the class of 1942, and that's been over 25 years, over 30, half a century. I've got Mr. Perry Britton with us, who was a class leader, and also Mr. Doug Clark. And Perry, how long has it been?
it's been 50 years, believe it or not. Hard to imagine.
Well, you guys all look pretty good for 50 years. Apparently they hadn't been too hard on you.
Well, science has made a lot of progress. We have a few assists there, a few dentures and pacemakers, and some of us, you may have to speak up a bit.
Well, it doesn't take 50 years. You know, we all got on the glasses. And we got Mr. Doug Clark here with us. I know that everybody remembers Mr. Clark. You were here, what years were you active around Center? From 19 what to 19 what?
Well, I started Center High School way back when, and graduated in 42, and went in the Navy, came back for a few years, left and went with the Department of Public Safety, came back in 51, left the area again in 74, and living in Austin at this time.
Well, that's great. Now, your current position is with the Texas Rangers, is that correct?
I'm retired from the Texas Rangers. I retired in 84. I served 20 years with that fine organization.
Well, now, I keep forgetting this is class of 42. Are you retired too, Perry?
Yes, I'm retired. I've been retired 5 years.
Well, I tell you, I look forward to that. I still have to be in the trenches out there. So y'all think about me. I'm sending in my Social Security money for y'all, and so
yeah, we appreciate it. We sent ours in too, and we enjoyed getting it back.
Keep those checks rolling.
Have you heard from everybody in your class? Is everybody here?
Well, no, everyone's not here, but we have quite a good turnout. We'll have a dinner party tonight, and we have about 75 reservations. Now, of course, that's spouses and a few people who just claim to be a part of, and anyone who claims to be a part of our class, we're happy to have them. But we have about 75 who will be at dinner tonight.
You know, I loved your comment a while ago. I said, well, you tried to tell me who Dub Clark was, and I said, well, he was the law around here. And you said, well, he was the law in the football team.
That's right.
Did both of y'all play?
He's been no, I didn't play. I weighed 118 pounds.
He was a musician. He provided inspiration and motivation from the sideline.
But Dub has been an enforcer ever since I can remember him.
Well, you know,
he did a lot of other things too. He was a singer, and he was one of our class characters.
Well, now, who had a car in 1942? Did everybody have a car like the kids do nowadays?
No.
A car.
Wilbur Lee Pate had a car.
Wilbur Lee Pate had a car.
Well, y'all all buddied up to him, right?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely.
Yes, sir. He's a very popular young man in those days. Besides that, it was convertible, too, if you remember, Perry.
That's right. That's right.
Where did y'all go, like, if you did get so lucky as to have a date and have a car or whatever, what was entertaining in Center in 1942?
I'm going to punt on that.
I'd like to punt, too, but actually, Carricker's Lake was a big thing in those days. We'd gather out there
and had a jukebox, and that was the place we could go to dance.
It was all good, clean fun.
And the Chat and Chew.
Where was the Chat and Chew?
Chew was on Tenney Hall Street. Would be roughly in the area there, just toward town from Walmart, the Walmart Center right now. And it was a hamburger place and had a large area with that you could dance and a jukebox. So everybody from that era knew where the Chat and Chew was. You could get a hamburger for how much?
Oh, 15 cents.
15 cents, and the jukebox cost a nickel.
Well, now, where was the high school?
High school, well, the first, 2 years of our class was over where the elementaries, they're on Nacogdoches Street. That building is long since gone. And then a new high school was built that we entered at the present site. That building burned, as you probably know, so it's not the same building, but it was right here is where we graduated, yeah.
You know, we just talking about school in old times. We just celebrated Mr. Moffitt's 90th birthday, and somebody in the celebration said, you know, he's the kind of leader we're looking for. He's a dictator, or was a dictator in the time he was here, but he was a benevolent dictator.
We just kind of viewed him as a dictator. He really wasn't. He was a real caring person and really interested in his students. He took it very personal, I thought.
Yeah, everyone knew that too. Yes. He only got the results of a dictator, because when he came in, everyone had enough respect
I like the
for
word
him.
respect.
Yeah, had enough respect for him.
Well, you guys aren't telling me now he didn't run the school kind of as a...
In the school.
Right.
There was no doubt in anybody's mind, was
That's
there?
right.
No doubt.
That's as it should be, you know.
That's what I'm saying, is that what we're looking for today is somebody to take charge and somebody to stand up on the front row and say, I'm in charge here. But he was a pretty good guy, wasn't he?
He absolutely. And if he corrected you, you felt there was probably good reason for it. And of course there usually was.
And he had a good staff of people that shared his philosophy, and had a fine organization, fine school. Academically, it was great.
We spent about 3 weeks organizing his birthday celebration, and it was the most love and compassion that poured out of this community for that man. You would never believe the depth of feelings for him.
Yeah, I planned
wonderful. Deserved, and I would believe it too, because he had that and has had it for at least 50 years that I know of.
Yeah, I'd like to see. I plan to check on him before I go back to Austin. I want to see him. Thank him. I want to thank him.
Well, it's crazy, but every time we talk to him, we say, now, do you remember Dub Clark? Oh, yeah, he's living in Austin, and his memory is just wonderful, and that's just great. Do you have any other memories about school you'd like to relate? Any sports stories, or did y'all win? Of course, there wasn't a lot of boys in school in 1942, was there?
Yeah.
Was they all gone to the war?
No. Went to war. We were not old enough. Went to war. We only had 11. We graduated in 11th grade, and most of us were 17.
16.
17. So the war came later. We were all you know, it was a different class in that, as many classes around those years were, we had that hanging over our head, and everybody knew. We didn't have a yearbook that year. Like Lucky Strike Green, that went to war. Yeah. But so it created a little bit different. We lost some friends, of course, in the war, and most of us were in it in one way or another. I had the good fortune of playing saxophone in the war, and that's the best kind of weapon to have.
Dub, where were you December 7th, 1941?
At Campers Lake on a Sunday afternoon, and I was with a young lady whose father had just bought a new car, and I won't call her name, and we were out there listening to the radio when the news came over, and Perry, I can remember the oppressive, the depressed attitudes, the atmosphere following that. It was hard, but I remember it as if it were only yesterday, and yeah, I remember real well where I was, who I was with, and what we were doing.
And Buster, you may have, someone else may have heard, you may have heard this, but I guess it was the following Monday that Mr. Moffett called a school assembly, and we had he put a big radio up on the stage, and we all sat there and listened to President Roosevelt with that famous, famous speech in which we really, yeah, that's right. And that was one of the most dramatic moments, I guess, of my life, as I look back on that, and I've thought of it 1,000 times since.
Well, I don't want to get too deep into the depressing part of 1942. Were there any cute girls in your class?
Oh, we had
They were all
a bunch
cute.
of them.
They were all cute.
Oh, a politician.
They were
What are you
all
running
cute.
for?
I married one.
Yeah, I tell you, they're still cute. They're still pretty. If you don't believe it, just go up there and look.
Well, you guys are delightful, and thank you for sharing with us this morning. And we'll look forward to the 60th reunion of the class of 1942.
Absolutely.
Who was your class president?
Fred Hudson was our class president. Fred Hudson. And he's here.
And he's here?
Yeah.
Well, okay. We may have to drag him back here in a minute and see what he remembers.
Well, you'll find him someplace out here, and he'll be talking.
Well, listen, thanks so much.
Thank
guys.
you. It was great fun.
Come over here, Rhonda.
Okay.
Well, we skipped from 1942 to 1982, and we have the famous, or is it infamous, or is it notorious, Rhonda Walker. Rhonda, welcome back.
Thank you very much, Buster. It's good to see you.
Well, it's good to see you, and you're living where now?
I'm in Wichita right now.
Wichita, that's up on the northern border of Texas.
That's in Kansas.
What in the world got you to Wichita, Kansas?
I decline to answer that question.
Well, let's rephrase. What kind of work are you doing in Wichita, Kansas?
I'm currently the program director for a women's reintegration program, which is a place where we do treatment for addicts and alcoholics and their dependent children ages 0 to 8.
Well, you know, it sounds like something like that is exactly what you should be doing. That's a save-the-world kind of job, and you're a save-the-world kind of person.
A lot of practice,
Have you seen any of your classmates since you've been back?
Not yet. I'm hoping to see them when we make the float today.
Ah, okay. Are you having a party?
Yeah, we're going to have one tonight at some Mexican restaurant that wasn't in existence when I was here last.
Well, things change. You know, you leave us, and we kind of fall apart over here without you. Well, listen,
Yeah, you do.
Thanks for sharing with us. And
Okay.
We're going to grab some other people, and
All right.
welcome back to Center.
Okay, thank you, Buster.
Well, every homecoming has to have a leader, and this year we've chosen for our leader, we've elected him to serve us in that capacity, Senator Bill Haley. Senator, how's it been?
Well, what that means is they have asked Mary to do all this, and everybody knows that. Let's face
Confessions.
I'll tell you what, that's one I don't mind making. It's been great this year. I think we're this year going to have the largest crowd we've had in a long time. Looks like it appears to be. Really does.
Yes, it is. There's a lot of class of 42 here. They're just glad to still be alive.
Yeah. No, I tell you what, I'm glad to still be alive. I think that's true. They're really excited. They've rented a whole spot over here for their people to be here, and they got a big do tonight at the country club, so I think they're going to have a fun time.
You know, besides being the leader of the homecoming process here, what year did you graduate from high school here?
61. I graduated with Mary Carroll and Nelda Faye Halliburton and Sammy Dance and Ronnie Jones and Buddy Hancock and Bobby Watson and Peggy Sue Watson. We had a Peggy Sue. Peggy Sue Watson and all us. Geraldine Hendricks.
Well, it's been 31 years for you.
Yeah. Thank you, Buster. It truly has. But they have not been those 31 years were nowhere near as long as this recent campaign, I can assure you.
Well, that's true, and it's taken you and a lot of other places to a lot of distant positions.
Yeah, and I tell you what, run into a lot of center graduates all over the state. Really do. A good many of them. Really do. I tell you what, too, people need to understand, and I think they pretty well do, that this thing always comes off in the last 2 years because of Mary Haley, but in the last however many because also of Buster Bounds and Mitchell Jaton to a large, y'all two are the mainstay. Anybody who ever works with this knows that. When we were trying to talk somebody into being the president next time, if you will recall, I said the most pressing reason why you could do this is they will do it. And of course, Martha Lou Russian has just been wonderful too, and Maddie. How do you do without Maddie for one of these?
Well, Maddie tells us that she started homecoming with Fabrice Payne, and I don't question anything Maddie says.
There's no one around to dispute that.
Was she the one that said, referring to George Washington, I know George Washington, he was a friend of mine.
And Bill Haley, you know George Washington. That's true. I do not have wooden teeth yet.
Well, hang around. A few more years, we'll be back together, and we'll have wooden teeth.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Well, listen, thanks. It's about time to get started.
It's time to get it rolling. Thank you, Buster.
Thank you.
Naomi Boot Camel is married to Mona Jones. They have 3 children and 6 great-grandchildren. The thing about, pardon me, 6 grandchildren. I meant that your grandchildren are great. I probably did not lose his vote, but I may have lost Mona's. Anyway, I think also, I can tell you, I believe that probably one of the proudest, most wonderful things that can happen is for your high school alumni association to award you as outstanding. I don't know of many things that could make one prouder than that. Before we have James and his family come up here, let me ask all those in the audience who are former recipients of this, if you would please stand. If you're here today and you're a former recipient of this, would you please stand? See what I'm telling you? And now joining that illustrious crowd of our alumni is Mr. James Campbell, his wife Mona, and their children, Angela and James and Rick, and all come on over here. And I think the grandchildren are with them, wives and husbands. And the good y'all to come on up. I was telling Frank Edwards earlier, I said, Frank Edwards, it's interesting that last year when you were announced as being the recipient, so many people said, well, hadn't he already gotten it? And this year when we announced James, so many people said, hadn't he already gotten it? And I think that is a wonderful thing to have happen, is that people assume that because of all you have done to distinguish yourself and to distinguish Center High School, that people assume you've already been there. Congratulations, James. Thank you very much.
First thing I'd like to say is I'd like to introduce you to my family. I have some grandchildren not here, and for very special reasons. First, I'll introduce my family that most of you here know. This is David and Angela Coons, my daughter and son-in-law. My wife, Mona. Jamie McElroy and her son, Cameron, better known as Cam. Rick and Tammy Campbell. I have 3 daughters that teach school in Center School. Now, I think that is successful. Now, state teachers, used to be Southern Union University now, I believe. And she's got tests today. So she couldn't be with us. I have a grandson, who is in a very important football game today. And if he wasn't there, I'm sure they would lose. Then I have 2 grandchildren that are 1/6, and if she was here, she would be circulating with all of you. That's Brooke Campbell, and we have a 6-month-old grandson who has learned that he can handle his grandmother. I tell you, the first thing I want to say is that I'm very appreciative of the people who selected me this year. I joined a group of people that have been dedicated, not necessarily here in this county, but who have been dedicated to Center High School. Some of them made their marks in other places, but they have brought honor to Center High School in Center, Texas. The awards that have been given have certainly greatly been honored. I see many folks out here that deserve the honors. I've been one of the luckiest fellows in the world. I have lived my life in Shelby County. Now, I don't have much to compare it with, except for 2 years in the service and 30 minutes in college. I've never been anywhere. But I'll tell you what, this honor should not be going to me. It ought to be going to Mona, because she had to put up with all the things that needed doing while I was doing things that I really enjoyed. The things I have done has not been labor. It has been fun. I want to tell you young folks, I have had a simple philosophy in life. That is that you ought to give back. I swore I wasn't going to do this, but you ought to give back a little of what God in your community has given you. But I found when I gave a little, I got more. And that is my philosophy. I've got so many people to thank that if I started out, there'd be no end. I've got you people, and most of you know who you are, bankers that loaned me money when I didn't deserve it. Friends who carried me when I broke. I can't tell you how much I appreciate the friends and the classmates, and gonna try not to cry. But Mama says you better hush, you're going to do. But that is basically the things that I'm most appreciative for, and I appreciate every one of y'all. And to me, if you ain't proud of where you've been, you're not likely going to be proud of where you're going. Thank you.
It's always interesting. Waving the buster. Turn it off. I know it.
What do you get into now?
Hello, folks. Did you say Chuck E. Cheese? Oh, it sounds good. I'm going to take your order that you read to me. On your head. Merry Christmas, Buster Brown. Ho, ho, ho to y'all. Ready. Let's do that. Game. That's a football game? We was thinking it might be Dub Clark.
Well, it was.
Was that Dub Clark?
That's what it was. Hey, Mr. Hall of Honor.
Have you got any candy for us? They're throwing it out and nobody will throw it back.
Hello. Who's on this side? Hello. Who's on this side? Hello. That's the best part, huh? Hello.
Buster P.
Tell them to wave at me, Dwight.
Y'all wave at him. Wave at the camera. Wave at the camera now. Now wave at the camera now.
Look at Brittany. What's she at?
Good. Wave at him. Y'all wave at him now. There you go.
You too, Dwight. Hello.
Hey, don't put me on the coffee shop again.
Hello.
Look at the wheel on that thing.
Hey. All right, Bill. Excuse me, what float is this?
Well, this is float number 93.
I hope you'll win.
I don't think we'll.
What float is this?
Jack.
It's the Boy Scouts?
Yeah, the Boy Scout.
Boy Scouts?
Yeah.
Good. What group is this?
Running Troop 9264. Our float had a flat.
This is a float with a flat.
Yeah. That is big, Hey, Buster. It cooked out. You should have dropped your truck.
Stars fell on Alabama.
And now the end is near, and so I face the final curtain. My friend, I'll say it clear, I'll state my case, of which I'm certain. Why live the life that's full? I've traveled each and every byway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Regrets, I've had a few, but then again, too few to mention. Why did what I had to do, and saw it through without exemption. I planned each charted course, each kept a step along the highway, and more, much more than this, I did it my way. Oh, what is the man? What has he got? It's not himself. He has not to say the things he truly feels. It's not the way of woman is. The record shows I took the blow and did it my way. I've loved, I've laughed and cried, I've had my fill, my share of losing, and now as tears subside, I find it all so amusing to think I did all that, and may I say, not in a shy way. Oh no, not me. I did it my way. Oh, what is the man? What has he got? If not himself, then he has not to say the things he truly feels. It's not the way of woman is. The record shows I took the blow and did it my way.
Thank you, thank you. I appreciate the chance to sing in center, and Darryl letting me come in.
Charles Delaney, all right.
Guys never have seen these charts, I appreciate it.